Good morning. Welcome to episode 7 of my trip to the USA, and today we are in Washington DC. Yes, the big smoke, and lots of stuff to do. First of all, this morning I'm actually heading to the Abraham Lincoln Assassination tour. So what this is a tour of the Ford Theatre where he was assassinated, with all the history and explanation behind it, and then heading across to the house where he was actually pronounced dead, where they carried him over after he was shot. So again, I don't really know much about it. I've done a little bit of research, watched as many documentaries as I can, but nothing prepares you for a host or a tour guide that really knows what they're talking about. So that's what's on the agenda today. A little bit cool this morning. It is going to be 26 degrees, so I've pulled out the shorts and t-shirt. Something I don't normally wear is shorts a lot, but I've got them out today. 26 degrees, so it should be an awesome day. So let's start with the Assassination tour. Then we've got the hop-on, hop-off bus tour, so I can hop off at all the sites around town where I want. And no real rhyme or reason to what I'm going to get to. Obviously there's the main things like the White House and probably Capitol building, all that sort of stuff, but we'll just see what we can get up to on our first day in Washington DC. This is the boarding house, the old boarding house, the building where the plot to assassinate Abraham Lincoln was, or did take place, with John Wilkes Booth and his cohorts. Now it is the Wok and Roll restaurant.
This is its 1865 appearance. The appearance changed over. He looked great. So could not have happened. So at intermission, people would go outside. This little vestibule here, this was the location of the Greenback Saloon, and on the south side, the Star Saloon. So you'd go to the saloons, and between the Star Saloon and the theater, you had a covered walkway that led to the back alley where you had 2 outhouses. So watch your step.
This part's more the Civil War part of Washington. Here in the museum at Ford Theatre, this is Gettysburg Address there. This is the assassination part. Here are all the people involved with the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Here is John Wilkes Booth and the gun.
Actor of the day. This is the picture you see reproduced the most because he's scowling. He looks somewhat on the evil side, but yet that's not the way people would have remembered him if he had not assassinated the president. He was very well liked. He was considered a very kind and generous person. Here's John Wilkes Booth right here. See the door to the right of the presidential box? That's the door to the alcove, and so it's open. It only is not open. They know they're going to have.
And there is a booth over there where Abraham Lincoln was sitting. And John Wilkes Booth, after shooting him, jumped down onto that stage there. Raised his knife in his hand, yelled a quote from a Shakespearean play, and headed out the door. Here is a better view of where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, sitting right there, not in that chair, but see through there where the play or the stage was. So Booth jumped over that barrier just there and made his escape. Okay, so I'm sitting in seat 33A of the Ford Theatre. See all those people up there waiting to get in over there to the booth of Abraham, or the booth where Abraham Lincoln was sitting the night he was assassinated. Right up there. Booth was an actor at the theatre. That's why he got up there unseen or unnoticed, because he was a very renowned actor at this theatre. So he was able to get up there without causing much fuss and shot Abraham Lincoln in the back of the head. Right up there. This is just amazing in here. So much history. I know I've said that a lot in the last few videos, but the original seats from 160 years ago. They're just preparing for a stage play of Lincoln at the moment. That's what you can see being set up down there. But this is definitely a step back in time. Just amazing. And yet another view of the box. And this is the Peterson House. This is where Abraham Lincoln died. So they brought him from across the street over there and brought him over here where he lived through the night but died the next day or the next morning.
Back to see her husband a handful of times. The last time she went back was about 7 o'clock in the morning. Lincoln was in his death throes by then. She put her head down on his chest and he made a very loud guttural sound. She screamed. Edwin Stanton, the Secretary of War, who is now running the government from this back room, came back and said, "Take that woman out and don't let her back in." The same carpenter that made this temporary coffin also made the coffin that he was very good carpenter.
And this here is the Star Bar. Now, this is apparently where the person that was supposed to be looking out for Abraham Lincoln that night, not necessarily a bodyguard, but his aide, was in drinking. It's only a replica at the moment. It's not actually a functioning bar, but that's where he was drinking for most of the night, including when Abraham Lincoln was shot and shot and died the next morning. All right, how cool is that? Ford's Theatre, where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. Just, I'm not sure how it compares to the Gettysburg experience, but wow, I don't think I can split them as far as just the relevance to American history. And to look at it, the box where he was shot, and see it pretty much intact. One correction I will make, by the way, I think I said in the video there earlier that it was the original seats. It wasn't. They were replaced about 50 or 60 years ago, I think. So the original seats look nothing like that, but geez, they've done a good job to make them look authentic anyway. So I'm just going to head down now to Union Square Station, where I'm going to do the hop-on, hop-off tour. Just take a drive around Washington and see what we can see. You can actually hop off whenever you want, which is good, and then get back on whenever you want. So it's about a 30-minute walk, so it's a nice day for it. Let's head on down to Union Station. And here is the US Capitol building. Actually on Capitol Hill, that's what they call it, but that is a Capitol building. And that's where all the members of Parliament make their decisions and vote and carry on and act like children and make decisions that affect not only America but the world. And occasionally people supposedly storm the building or be let in by the guards, depends on who you speak to. But either way, the famous and infamous US Capitol. Alright, how's this for a view? That is the Capitol building that we just came from, way up yonder. And if we look down, this incredible length of grass takes us right down to down there, which is the Washington Monument, right there. And it's such a beautiful day. I jumped off the bus and I'm going to walk down there. Now this here is the Washington Monument, built in honour of one of the founding fathers of the USA, George Washington. And just in respect or honour of everything that he did for the country. And back down there is where we first came from. That was the Capitol building. This way we go down to the Lincoln Memorial and the famous pool that we see in all the movies. So we're going to make our way down there now. Now first, before we get to the Lincoln Memorial, check this out. This is the World War II Memorial. Obviously in honour of all the people all the Americans that fought and died in World War II. It's absolutely beautiful. They do it so well here with the memorials in the States. They just honour their veterans and do things that they'll be honoured for eternity. And this is unbelievable. And here is the famous pool leading up to the Lincoln Memorial. Now I'll get a better shot when I get at the other end and I'll face back and see the Washington Memorial in the background, or is it monument, whatever it is. This is, I still actually remember this for being when the Forrest Gump movie, when he gets dragged on stage up further in front of the memorial. And countless other things. Of course, Jenny jumps in the pool here to go and greet him, but this is one of the most famous parts of Washington. So we are at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Looks like there's a bit of work going on up there, some construction or renovations or something, but it's all good. It is open, so we'll go and check that out. But this is the view from the end of the pool looking up towards the Washington Monument, I'm going to call it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've got to say that pool is extremely long. It had to be 600 or 700 metres long, I reckon. It took me a while to walk it, but absolutely beautiful. And there is the man himself, Abraham Lincoln. So it says there, in this temple, as in the hearts of the people for whom he saved the Union, the memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever. Very impressive piece of art. And up there is the speech he actually gave when he was anointed as the 16th President of the United States. I actually still remember in the movie In the Line of Fire, Clint Eastwood and Rene Russo sitting right there. And Clint Eastwood says, "Wish I could have been there for you, Bud," or Abe, or whatever it was. And they're looking down that direction there. And what trip to Washington would be complete without a trip to the White House? There it is, right there. There's actually a better view of it around the back, but heavily patrolled at the moment, so that is it. The White House. Lots of people around with different causes. You're allowed to do it as long as it's not violent, so you can probably hear the music in the background there, but lots of, well, people just silently protesting anyway, or non-violently. And there's actually a more of a wide shot there of the White House, without all the noise and people, and that is it right there.
He was a French guy who helped him.
Well, that is a big day, done and dusted. It is currently about 10 to 4, and I left at about 8 o'clock this morning. So almost an 8-hour day. It's been just hectic the whole way, non-stop. But wouldn't have it any other way. Just a really good day. And you can see there, that's my sat nav there, telling me which way to get back to the hotel. But you know, just the Ford's Theatre tour, and then all the stops. It was actually really good. It was a hop-on, hop-off trolley, and you were able to just jump on. They had about 15 different stops, so you could just, they had bus stops along the way, so you could just, as it says, hop on, go to whatever stop that you wanted to, and then hop off. And it's actually good. The White House one here is one of the last ones on the stop, but it's only about a 5-minute walk back to my hotel, so loving that. But so many sights to see. I'm probably not going to get everything done that I wanted to, but so much to see here in Washington. But look, it depends if that's your thing. You know, if you want to do all the political stuff, you know, you have plenty of opportunities to do that here. But just a really, really good day. Had a ball. Now it's back to the hotel for a bit of a rest, and then maybe a little bit of dinner and a quiet night before another big day of day 2 in Washington.